Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. This some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thoughts in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converts of only a few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yes, what's going on, people, man? We are back in the building. As always, guys, please make sure you are smashing the like, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Let me get my Inter Miami top. Yeah, I'm saying Messi on the back. Hey, nah, that's kind of funny, man. That's a private joke. But guys, as always, man, as I say, man, please smash the like, smash the like. It's international break, so you know, boring. So obviously you guys saw my previous video where we spoke about Iniesta. We're here to talk about some football that is currently going on, and that is England's game against Greece at Wembley Stadium. Yeah, man, like I said, international football, bro, it really does not interest me. I'm not really one of those kind of guys where, you know, I find joy within the international scene. But you listen, we're here. It's there in the calendar until the players decide to start, you know, going on strike and stuff like that. I guess this is just, you know, what it is. This is the England squad. Obviously, there have been a couple players who have withdrawn from the squad, but this was the initial squad. Of course, that's Lee Carsley, his second squad as the interim manager for England. So you can see, you know, the usual suspects are in there, the Sakas, the Bellinghams. He's obviously come back in. Declan Rice, Pickfords, you know, Mark Gay, John Stones. John Stones, I believe, is going to be captain actually at Wembley Stadium, from what I saw in the press conference. Phil Foden, Jack Grealish. You can see the left back situation. I found that one kind of interesting. As I mentioned before, you can see Levi Colwill again has made the squad, made a decent start for Chelsea this season. So we can say, I guess it's deserved. And also England don't have anybody who can play, you know, left back really and truly. Hence why you can also see Rico Lewis has also been added to the squad. Conor Gallagher, Angel Gomez, you know, after his kind of, would I say somewhat admirable performances, you know, in the last game. Madueke's in there, Harry Kane, but he may potentially be a doubt. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure Lee Carsley will speak about it, you know, at some point in the day. But if not, Dominic Solanke, who's finally, you know, making that step up, you know, after that move to Tottenham. It's always funny, you know, when players make these kind of moves, unless you're Eze, and I mean, Eze is not even in the squad this time, but unless you're like players lacking Eze and stuff like that, it's going to be so difficult. You know, Morgan Gibbs-White playing for Nottingham Forest, you know, how long is he going to be able to, you know, stay in the squad and stuff like that? It's going to be interesting, going to be interesting. As I mentioned, Dominic Solanke started off okay, I would say, at Spurs. Started off okay. I know in the last couple of games, you know, he's kind of really found his feet and stuff like that, you know, getting a couple of goals and that. But yeah, I feel like, listen, it's a big money move from Bournemouth, moving to Tottenham, bigger club, you know, more expectations and stuff like that. So going to be interesting to see how he does and how he fares. You know, Tottenham, I think, have been kind, since Harry Kane left anyway, they've been lacking that kind of threat up front. And I think he might potentially be the one, you know, to help solve and ease those burdens. Now, as you can see, a couple of players, as I mentioned before, will miss England's October internationals. So Morgan Gibbs-White, Ezri Konsa, and Kobe Mainoo. As it says here, the trio all sustained injuries for their respective clubs over the weekend and have been ruled out of the Three Lions UEFA Nations League fixtures against Greece and Finland. So yes, we won't be seeing those three players. Probably more annoying for, would I say, maybe Morgan Gibbs-White, because you know you just make the squad, you made your debut and stuff. You wanna stay as long as possible in the manager's plans. You know, you don't want to be out of those plans just in case someone else comes in, they start doing good, then they go back to their club, continue to do good. Now you're out of the picture and you're like, I just got here, you know, kind of thing. Kobe Mainoo, he'll be fine. He'll be in the next squad. And I believe Ezri Konsa as well, he'll potentially be in that next squad. Curtis Jones, he receives a late call-up. Obviously, as I mentioned, you can see there, Morgan Gibbs-White didn't make the squad. Well, pulled out, should I say, because of injury. So Curtis Jones does make that squad, and so too does Livramento, a player that I have admired for a very, very long time. I think he is a top quality player. I think people like him, like a Rico Lewis, these guys who can play in a couple positions. I like that, but it's not even the fact that they can play in a couple positions. It's the fact that they look comfortable, so much so that you don't even really know what is their best position. What is, can I play in left back? Can I play in right back? Can I, in terms of Rico Lewis, can I play him in midfield? You even got players like Archie Gray as well, who can also do that, the left back, the right back, centre back, midfield kind of roles. England have got a few players, I think, because of this new generation, because of this new wave, in terms of how, football teams want to play and stuff like that. I think we're going to start seeing quite a lot of these players who are going to be able to play in multiple positions. What that means for them in the future, I don't know, because if you ask me realistically, what's Rico Lewis's best position? I'm almost gonna say right back, but then I'm like, I don't know, right back / maybe midfield. I feel like he could do a role as like a number 8 in there. It's a bit tricky. I don't really know. And Archie Gray, kind of the same thing, midfieldish kind of. And I haven't really watched him, too much this season to realistically know. But yeah, it is a bit of a tricky one. It is, a tad bit of a tricky one. Going back, looking at the squad, I think it's a calm squad. Not really much else I think he could potentially do. Obviously, Morgan Gibbs, as I mentioned, out. Curtis Jones kind of coming in. I thought maybe Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. That was the one name I thought, maybe potentially deserves a call up. I feel like in these kind of fixtures, bro, we're not playing anybody crazy. Like we're playing, Greece and I can't remember who the other fixture was against, but we're not playing, who's it, Greece and Finland. Do you know what I mean? We're not playing against like the craziest of teams, like, so maybe you could have potentially. But listen, Lee Carsley, he's here on an interim basis. He ain't trying to lose games. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to try and pick, the best players he possibly can. And I think it's pretty good for him as well to see that, someone like Jude Bellingham is also back in the squad, to then see what he can then look like, in this England team. How does he, get utilized within a Lee Carsley squad? Because we know that, Lee Carsley does like to play with that kind of 4-2-3-1. We saw it, mainly during the under-21 championships a couple of years ago. Last year? No, yeah, a couple of years ago, actually, now. I think we saw it. And, there was a lot of talk, in regards to it. There was a lot of people. No, last year. Sorry, my brain's just gone a bit frazzled there. But either way, we saw it in the last year under-21 championship where England obviously won. And we saw Angel Gomez playing alongside a Curtis Jones. So could he potentially be looking at something like that in one of these games? Even if it's just to come off the bench and stuff like that, that could be something, potentially, we may look at. One player who everybody's talking about, everybody's got his name on their lips, and that is Cole Palmer. He won the England's Men's Player of the Year award. I think Saka won it last year. Cole Palmer won it this year. I guess it makes sense as well with everything that's kind of going on in and around him. Yeah, it just seemed like it was one of those inevitabilities. If I'm being totally honest with you, interesting one. With me, myself, Savage, and we've spoken about this, on numerous occasions, and we've spoken about this kind of need for the football society to always have to place people into certain tiers. And sometimes I think we force it sometimes, when we try to place certain players into certain tiers based off of whatever it is that people are basing, some of this stuff off. And Cole Palmer is like I think is a fantastic example of that, because a lot of people, they're like, yeah, Cole Palmer, world-class player, has to be, blah, 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 and then they question the likes of the Phil Fodens, the Bukayo Sakas and stuff like that. And I'm always like, it depends on, of course, listen, look, I feel like there's a base level, would I say, general consensus when it comes to what a world-class player is. There's some players you don't even question. Haaland, you're not questioning. Harry Kane, you ain't questioning. These kind of guys, you're not really questioning. Ali, Virgil, these kind of players, you're not going to question if they're just world-class players. You just say, yeah, he's world-class, blah, blah, blah. But then there's other players who, like a Cole Palmer, and, the Bukayo Sakas, the Kvaradonnas, at Napoli, players of this kind of ilk, you start to like question where you should put them. And I feel like people feel that there has to be a need to put people like a Cole Palmer. He's world class straight away. That's it. One season, he's done his job. That's it. He's now cemented in there. And I said this before, and I think I tweeted it out, and I was like, man like Luka Modric didn't ball out for this amount of time and still be a world-class player for you to then just start throwing other players in there. That's not taking nothing away from Cole Palmer, though. Cole Palmer has balled out. He's always been seen as a good player. But ultimately, playing at Chelsea last season, he done really, really well. He must have overperformed. I don't think anybody saw what he was going to do, last season. I don't think anybody thought that would be in his makeup at this current moment in time in his development, into the men's game. But look, we're here now. And I just think that we're so quick to just throw people in. I know Chelsea fans, they're going to get gassed. Listen, he's their player. I expect them to be gassed. But sometimes I just feel like, I just wish there was like a criteria for tiers. Like they need, like how on FIFA you can play and you can play on a certain level, if it's amateur or class or whatever I don't really know, but like ultimate, whatever the levels are, just like any PlayStation game, you can choose a level kind of thing, and it tells you what does that level like entail. What does that mean if you play at this level, at this level, at this level? I wish we had that for football tiers in terms of how we see players, because I just feel like where there's a bit of ambiguity with this kind of thing, and it's always been like that. Of course, it comes down to just really, I guess, a general consensus of what we deem to be world-class players. But when we look at it, I'm like I'm not saying Cole Palmer's a dope player. He has balled out, and I think he could potentially become that player. I'm sorry, but you cannot be throwing players like him into world-class status. I'm sorry, because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, surely a world-class player at least has to be playing Champions League football. Like, in my eyes, yeah, that was always seen as like a bare minimum. Like in my mind, I'm trying to think of play. Even Luis Suarez, like when he was balling out for Liverpool, yeah, you were just like, yeah, that's one season though. And that was one season, that season in the 13-14 season. You could say, yes, in hindsight, you look back and be like, yeah, it was world class. Yeah, of course, because he went to Barcelona where he did what he did with, Messi and Neymar. And then, of course, that kind of happened. But to look at that now, and I'm not saying that, and again, this is why I say I'm not saying that Cole Palmer cannot be that. Chelsea might finish in the Champions League next season, this season, and then cool, he continues that, and then continues his level of performances, and then we can start putting him in those brackets. But excuse me, I just feel that we're so quick to just throw these players in there, man. I'm just like, bro, I beg you, just chill out for a sec. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not, again, he started off this season well. But for me personally, nah, he's not a world-class player. But then again, I don't have masses of people, which is what I feel is going on with the football community, is that you've got so many people in your world-class list. That's why your world-class list it just fluctuates all the time. Yeah, 1 week this person's in there, next week that person's in there, this month this person's in here. Oh, he's the flavor of the year. He has to be front. Bro, like, do you not want no substance? Like, again, this is what I'm saying. There's got to be like a 2 to 3 year kind of, a 2 to 3 year kind of, like, would I say, sustainability within a player. Harry Kane had to have years in fighting at the top end of the Premier League, also in the Champions League as well. Who's doing his thing, for England, doing his thing. So you could be, you throw them in there. Regardless, I'm not really even talking about trophies. Forget the trophy side. I'm just talking about the player themselves, because I'm not trying to, put categorize just players who are winning things. Now, it's not going to always be about that. You don't necessarily have to be winning things in order for you to be a world-class, player. But what I am saying is you do need to be kind of competing, or have competed at the highest of levels, and I just think that at this current moment in time, yes, I know he played in the Euro final before Chelsea fans start crying their eyes out. Yes, that's that one time. That's really, really good. But until I see a bit more sustainability within these kind of guys, or you're going to start doing numbers like Harry Kane on a consistent basis, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 every year, I can't just throw you in there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And by the way, for someone like him, because he's not a striker, I'm not even asking you to do that. That's the maddest thing. I'm just more about, if I continue to see these level of performances for, let's say, this whole of this season, then maybe I'll actually start having that conversation at the end of this season. At the moment, I can't just throw you in there. I'm sorry, but 1 year is not even close to being enough for me anyway. Not saying that that is the rule of thumb, because everybody's got their own idea. Some people will use yeah, but you can see it. Okay, cool, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. You're Mystic Meg. You can see all of these things. That's absolutely fine. I've got no problems with that. But me, nah, can't see it. Seeing is believing. So until I see it, that's when we'll start calling these players, world class. Until then, leave them out of these conversations, man, because like I said, I just think it's madly disrespectful to the world class players out there who have been doing their thing for the last God knows how many years, for at least minimum 3 years, and then we're just chucking this person and chucking that person and chucking players like Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe. These guys who've been doing their thing for the last 3 to 5 years, and now you want to chuck a guy who's only been doing it for one. Get out of here, man. Fuck all of that. I'm not trying to hear that. Unless you're some generational talent like a Lamine Yamal, then cool. But Cole Palmer definitely isn't that. Do you know what I mean? Like I hope Chelsea fans don't think that. You know what I'm trying to say? If they do, then oh my God, you guys are too far gone. But listen, he's a baller. He's done his thing. Won the Player of the Year. So do your thing, man. Continue. So this is my 11 for the game against Greece. I've gone with Pickford in goal. Trent at right back. Going to be interesting to see whether Walker comes in or not, but I've kept with Trent for the time being. Stones and Gahey, as I mentioned, Stones, I believe, is going to be captain for the game. Gahey, because he's the only one, really. And obviously, because Konza's obviously come out. Lewis, I've gone with at left back. I've gone with Lewis at left back. Could have put Levi Colwill. I think he's going to go Levi Colwill, but I wouldn't mind seeing Lewis there. I think he can do the job. I think he'll be comfortable on that left-hand side. It's either him or Livramento, to be honest with you. I just want to see what they look like in that kind of position. And I think Lewis tactically is a very smart individual, very, very intelligent on the pitch. He knows the positions he needs to pick up. He understands the roles that's always been given to him by Pep Guardiola. And I feel like if you can understand that, you can understand anything on the pitch. So yeah, he's someone I've gone with for that left back slot. But again, this is actually one time I'm not fussed. Put Levi Colwill there if you want to, just for the balance. But playing against Greece, if I'm being honest, I feel like he should be able to handle, whoever it is they're going to put on that side. In the double pivot, would we say, if you want to call it that, but it's a 4-3-3 anyway. I've gone with Rice and Bellingham. I think those two will play, especially Bellingham, missing out on the previous squad, first squad under Lee Carsley. And I think Declan Rice obviously is kind of just a given. And then I've gone with Cole Palmer. I've gone with Coley Palmer. Obviously, there's no Mainu, which actually might work in Cole Palmer's favour. I don't think you're not going to get in on the right-hand side. Saka is the best right winger in England. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't think that's even up for debate, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I've gone with Saka obviously on the right, Cole Palmer to play just in behind, and Ollie Watkins up top. The reason why I've gone with Watkins, because I did hear that Harry Kane might potentially be, or he's struggling with something. So I said, you don't have to risk it. Like, it's not that deep. I mean, I don't care because he doesn't play for my team, but you don't have to risk it. It's not that deep. And it'll be nice to start seeing some other players play, to see how they play, in this England team, not just called upon in some random emergency, kind of thing. Let's see what these other guys can do. And Ollie Watkins, he deserves it. He's been a really, really good striker over the last three seasons, or really since he come to the Premier League. He's been really, really good. And then I've gone with Grealish on the left-hand side. Again, you can go with Anthony Gordon if you want to. You can go with whoever else is in the team. But I've gone with Jack Grealish. Let me know your thoughts in terms of the lineup. Do you hate my lineup? Do you think, not really it? Let me know also your thoughts on Cole Palmer. Is Cole Palmer a world-class player? Let me know. My prediction for the game, I'm going to go with... I'll go with a 3-1 England. No, 3-0. I'll go 3-0 England. 3-0 England. Let me know your scoreline in the comment section, people. And I will be back for the match reaction on the Friday morning. So make sure you guys stay tuned, stay blessed. I'll catch you on the other side. Peace.